Okay, thank you. Next, we'll go to Heather Burroughs.
Thank you. I want to thank you, Assemblymember Santa Barbara, for sponsoring the Communication Bill of Rights, which passed unanimously last session in the Assembly, and to Assemblymember Giglio for being such a strong voice for the disability community. As a ranking member, you've led the effort to make sure every voice is heard, and giving my daughter and others like her a voice is my life's work. And this committee's work makes that possible. So thank you for this opportunity today. My name's Heather. I live in Rochester. I'm a mother, sister, wife, psychologist, and the director of advocacy at Autism Up. We're an organization that supports more than 4,000 families navigating systems that rarely work together. All of my children have support needs, with my daughter Devin requiring 24-hour care. Families like mine are the canaries in New York's disability coal mine. We sound the alarm when systems become dangerous because we feel the strain first. And for years, our struggles have warned of impending collapse. So many people have already said this, but like thousands of New York families, my husband and I lay awake at night asking the same questions. Who's going to care for them when we can't? And where will they live when we're gone? Too often people look at my daughter Devin's complexity and shrug, and as though that her disability somehow excuses the system's failures. An efficient system would triage and respond to the greatest needs first. When we prioritize in this way, it isn't just compassionate, it's effective. Instead, families like mine are most likely to be waitlisted, most forced to tread water. You'd think that being the largest unrecognized minority group, we'd be seen. But in most cases, our pain goes unnoticed. So we are externally grateful for the Assembly taking the time to learn from us now, before our shot clock runs out, before the state has no choice but to step up. A few people had mentioned long-term care, nursing homes, ICFs. I worked in a 500-bed facility. There aren't that many spots. I think nursing homes alone in New York State have 117,000 possible beds. Most of them are filled. Here's a number that should shake you. There's 109,000 adults with IDD in New York that live with caregivers over 60. We could take up every nursing home bed if that's where we actually wanted to live. And there's one thing I have to say too is we all noticed that we were barely mentioned in the last State of the State address. And we know that the budget is based on what's in that address, right? It kind of follows. So if you rally with us now, this time we won't be just mentioned. Maybe we'll be a priority to the governor's office. The inequities present are all contributing to this. 75% of OPWDD's budget funds certified options that serve less than 25% of eligible New Yorkers. People in self-direction have equally complex needs, yet receive significantly less funding. Self-direction depends on unpaid family labor to fill the gaps, a model that's not fair or viable long-term. But did you know that New York is the last state in the nation still this dependent on certified group homes? OPWDD lists sustainability as a goal. And logic tells us that if we were close to achieving the sustainability goal, we'd be opening more certified homes than we were closing. For many of us, it feels like New York is performing CPR on a dinosaur. We're trying to revive a model that's long outlived its time. Rather than keeping it on life support and spending so much money defending it in court, let's take what once worked. Let's learn from our history and integrate the best parts of certified into a modern model that truly delivers value. That would be a stronger return on investment, which means more people will be served well, and that should be our ultimate goal. Workforce shortages, turnover, safety concerns still plague the 30,000 plus people living in certified settings. And here's the hard truth. Why should these programs, which we can't staff, which are failing our loved ones, and where the abuse rates remain shockingly high, continue to receive the lion's share of funding? For context, the Justice Center confirms that nearly 30,000 substantiated cases of abuse or neglect happen each year. That's basically a 1-to-1 ratio. That means for every person living in a certified home, there's a substantiated case of harm. Let that sink in. I'm sure 50 years ago, some people thought Willowbrook could be revived too, but at some point, everyone had to agree that it was time to change course. I'm grateful for the powerhouses who bravely made this shift, who fought for what we have now, but the promises that started certified housing are not being honored. This model isn't protecting or supporting the people it was meant to serve, and it's time to evolve, to build a system that funds according to need, not based on what funding model you happen to be under. People with disabilities are boxed in by restrictions no other populations in New York face. For example, veterans and seniors can layer funding streams and choose where they want to live, who they want to live by, with fewer barriers than people with disabilities. This flexibility is flat out denied to us, which is not only unfair, treating us differently is the definition of discrimination. So yes, a lot is broken, but a lot is possible too. Other states are doing more with less. Arizona and Wisconsin have built cross-sector housing partnerships that reduced and even eliminated wait lists in some cases. They've increased affordable, accessible options. It's time for us to bring their lessons home to us. In my role at Autism Up, I worked with First Place to conduct Rochester's housing market analysis, and New Yorkers had a lot to say. We gathered more housing data than any other region in the entire nation. Please look up the report. The link is in my written testimonies. Families have done the groundwork. We're ready to get to work. Join us, or we politely ask you to step aside. Here are 3 things you could do to make a real difference right now. Fund hybrid pilot projects, the ones that would blend the best of certified and self-directed model and make one equitable continuum of care. Add a housing sustainability budget line in self-direction so we could secure staff dedicated to helping families establish and maintain housing while we're here and after we're gone. And please, let's change the way we're interpreting restrictions and regulations, because right now, the only other population that is restricted in this way, who gets to be told who they live by and who they live with, are registered sex offenders. It is unacceptable that our loved ones are being held hostage by something that was never the intent of Olmsted. It should not be the intent of the settings rule. Let's follow the lead of other states by interpreting these in new ways that no longer block innovation and the dignity of choice. Right now, you have constituents who are being forced into impossible choices. Some are losing their income to stay home to care for loved ones, and as a result are facing homelessness. In Rochester, we just opened up one of the largest homeless shelters for families in our state. Others are heartbroken because they're being forced to surrender their loved ones in hospitals. I think Tom Avenatti mentioned that. They know that if they drive away, it will escalate their child's priority and maybe someone will help them. I'm working on a task force with my county, Monroe County, right now, because we have hundreds of people boarding in hospitals. Often their stays are over 140 days. Just think about the cost of that, the human cost of that. And sometimes families are even counseled to put their children in foster care because by taking away the roof over their head and their parental component, supposedly it escalates their priority. But really all it's done is made a mess. We continue to live under the shadow of Willowbrook, and New York must finally confront it. This hearing tells me you're listening, but hope without action is another form of neglect. The canaries are calling. Families have carried the system on our backs for decades. If we break, the safety net is going to break with us. Please don't ignore us. We're not collateral damage. We're the warning signal, and time is running out. Thank you for your leadership.